Morning, sports betting brethren. Hey, it's Monday, October 23rd, and opening up the markets report here just right before 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And the reason why we do that is we want to see what the lines opening up and the changes overnight in this particular instance, and have Sporttrade open up their markets at 7 a.m. So that's why we're here right before that kickoff, and we're going to jump right in. So what I do is go through the morning market report, sort of go through the odds and the lines and things that are out there on the slate of games for today, which is finishing up a busy weekend with Saturday and Sunday, obviously in football, and so been some good, bad, awkward, weird, but the season's really starting to take form and shape up. So it's getting kind of interesting as these markets adjust and markets start to uh, make changes in the pricing and things that you might normally see or have seen differently in the first part of the season. So let's take a look. I'm going to switch the screen over here to the positive EV page, and we'll take a look at that. And let me see if I can get this over to that screen right now. Let me present this here. And as we get the 7 a.m. open, we will see what the lines look like as we get into the markets for the day. And so right off the bat, we jump into this positive expected value side here. The 3.42% is kind of where we're looking at. This is my purpose of this is try to teach people how to hunt, how to use the tools at OddsJam. OddsJam is a betting tool that I use daily, 24/7, but it gives us the bet size based on a particular budget. You can put it in your settings. Also, your settings will allow you to put in all of the sports books you choose to. There's about 200 roughly, plus or minus, in all the areas. I use about 27, 28 in Colorado. I'm here in the Denver market. And so what I'm looking for here in the player prop side is something on the market with under 30. And if it's a mainline bet, like a total or a point spread or money line, looking to keep that market with around 20 below. Certainly if it's 15 and below, like this 13 right here, this total runs, I get more excited because that's a bet that I'm definitely interested in. I would like to see the percent edge a lot higher, but we'll get into this here in a minute. But definitely this is a play. I go over to Fliff, put this in. Nurkic over 2.5 assists, a nice little market with under that 30, and then of course 3.42 is a great percent edge in the market, and you can actually open this up. I do like to kind of watch to see who I'm going up against relative to the other sports book. It's just one of those weird things where sometimes they'll sort of stick out to me as a book that we kind of keep our eye on. You'll see some of these other sports books that have the same odds on either side. So that's something to consider in these average odds and these numbers and things. Because if you're going up other sports books like Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel, things like that, that's one thing. But when you're going up against the fixed DFS type sites, you need to make sure you understand, why those are what they are. So, again, looking at this, they're clear up at minus 150 on the other side of this under. That's very, very high. Certainly would never, position that. But this plus 105 seems to kind of stand out, be a nice positive EV bet that we'll just roll with. And if you ever feel like you want to scale this back down, obviously you're not required to put those in, but gives you some framework to use. Scrolling on down here, got some Typico I struggle with because I've gotten limited with them, and so it's pretty crazy. When what will happen is when you get limited at various sports books, they know that you're beating their prices, and so your account gets flagged. And when you go log in, many times even if you put a small bet in, they'll limit you because they know they probably have a pricing outlier mistake. So that's a fun to deal with. What I usually like to see is a setup like this. A setup meaning a situation where I've got the great market with under 20. I'm using the pinnacle line to go against this on a mainline bet. So this Arizona +4 is a bet that I really, really like. Granted, I'd like to see this a little bit higher. There's no doubt about that, but I would definitely add this one as well and get that bet in. Now, later in the week, that that goes against me and changes, maybe the line changes for the worse, I can always hedge back out and get out of it. But typically, the early bird gets the worm. And let's open this up real quick, just because I do want to kind of show you um, the the kind of the breakdown of how that looks when you see this against the other books. So we're going to hit that tab at OddsJam, and it's going to open up and it's give you some other sports books that have the lines currently. So again, you're going up with Pinnacle and Circus. Circuit opens up the lines too on Sunday afternoon in college football, so that's really good. You get a nice jump on that. Pinnacle's already jumped up from the -110 that they open with to the 123, and so again, this is seemingly a pretty nice value getting Arizona. Um, Below the market price of these guys. So pretty cool stuff. That's why we would go that route. So using the positive EV page, excuse me, one morning sneeze there, is something we do on a consistent basis all the time. I like to go early in the mornings because you can kind of get some pricing outliers, and I like to go at the end of the day, usually an hour or two prior to the start of the games for the evening. So if it's a 5 o'clock, 5:30 start time, Mountain Time, with a lot of the NBA games, college basketball, football, whatever, I'll try to pop in here about 3:30, 4 o'clock, just to get another summation of kind of what's going on in the markets with the pricing, and see if there's some outlier pricing we can take advantage of. You can see 7 o'clock's rolling around here. So Sporttrade is starting to open up here with some lines and some odds and things. And so we're going to pop over to the college football page real quick and just check out some of the lines going on with the next middle of the week, full week's game lines are, and scroll through here. Um, you can tell right away it's going to be a lot of adjustments, a lot of things going on, just with a lot of action here on a Monday morning. I also want to pop over to the NFL page to just kind of track and trace what's going on with tonight's Niners Vikings game. I think this is a weird line relative to this +6.5 for the Vikings. It was up to 7 on some places. You can see Sporttrade still has us on lockdown, haven't opened up their market yet on this particular update. But let's just take a quick look at Pinnacle, what they've done at 6.5. And I find this kind of strange because it was up as high as 7. Now, what I'm thinking is you have a lot of people that tied this together with a teaser, right? So over the course of Sunday, you had a lot of long teasers, a lot of teaser plays that people might have this game at, say, Minnesota and San Francisco teased. Typically, you would tease the Niners down from the 6.5 to just win. Well, who thinks the Niners aren't going to beat Minnesota, right? I mean, but here's what I'm saying. This is what I find odd. This 7, if everyone and their brother is on Minnesota, why is the line dropping? This is the old reverse line movement consideration or look. You can see there it was 7, it's dropped down. So the question is, is this a setup for a Monday night home dog play? That seems kind of fishy. You also have a fairly low total in the lower 40s of under. I think the average scoring in the NFL right now is the mid 40s, so 45, 44, 45-ish. So that's a tiny bit under the average. So you're expecting sort of a lower scoring game. And when you're getting 7 points, 6.5 points, but if you tease this up, if you happen to tease up the Vikings, which I think the long teaser would go the other way, you want to tease the Niners down. But again, you would have well over 25% of the points if you took the Vikings and you teased them up, which I wouldn't have done just because that's not really the method that I would use for a teaser. But that's probably what could be going on with some of these markets, and the reason why it hasn't adjusted. You'd think it'd go from 6.5, 7, 7.5. But when they're crossing over some key numbers and key lines, they sort of are in a bad position to make that adjustment because the books don't want to have people, middle them. They don't want to have that middle opportunity and that middle situation happen. Let's pop over to week 8 in the NFL, see what's going on there, see if there's any changes as they open up the lines for next week. Again, coming up. It's nice to get in early. Typically Mondays for me are sort of taking inventory, kind of just regrouping, resetting, seeing what works, seeing what didn't work. And you can see we haven't seen the Sporttrade markets open up just yet, so it's still a little early. But this is what I like to see from the overnight, and then when they come in, especially on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So maybe Monday not so much, but here we go with them opening this up. You can see over here best odds, and again, you can compare and contrast that with other market making books. And later in the week, you're going to see a lot of variance and a lot of differences in the outlying prices. So again, we're using this as a tool just to identify value. When you see the red and the green pop up like this just happened, it'll tell you what direction things kind of went. So this was, let me do it again. This was at over 41 minus 105. So the juice has gone up 10 cents on the over of this. It's probably why you see some other 41 and a half. So bookmakers tending to go that direction. But they can see here even money at 41 and a half. So this market a little bit teetering going that way. Just right out of the gate is kind of how you read some of these things. But that's what we see now. Again, this is going to get a little bit more in depth Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sort of when I start to kind of settle in and get some plays put together, like to let the market sort of do some of the work here and figure some things out and check out some injuries. And so Monday mornings to me are really just kind of positions I'm going to take right away, unless it's maybe a favorite that I want to jump on before the line goes haywire. But you can use this tool in many different ways. You can use OddsJam to check player prop markets. You can use it to check alternative line markets, all kinds of things. So this is what we're doing. Going to do this again each morning a little bit prior to 7 a.m. Mountain Time. So I try to log in about 5 minutes prior, kind of take a look around a little bit in the positive EV page. Probably get some things in there with some various sports books with the positive EV page, and then spend some time looking at the opening of the market with Sporttrade's adjustments. So that's really all I've kind of got for today. Again, Monday morning is pretty easy, but we'll be getting into a lot more the teeth of this on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as we see the market start to adjust, start to get some news, start to get some information that we want to apply, and we start to see these positive EV bets light up a lot too. So that's what we'll do, and that's what we have. But appreciate you stopping by. And if you want to get logged in and join Sporttrade, there's the QR code up in the right hand corner. Also, if you want to join OddsJam, please use Boyd20. Boyd20 is going to get you 20% off the first 2 months of your subscription at OddsJam to use the betting tools here. So what a better time to do it, right? I mean, you got the hockey, NBA starting up here like today, tomorrow, college football, college basketball, everything's going on. So make sure you use Boyd20 Media, signed up at OddsJam as well. Stop over there, get that done. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'll be happy to help you get rolling and using these tools. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.